Hello everyone, welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name's Deshaun, and today I am here to give you my review of Black Panther. It's going to be a quick little review because I got a video coming out soon. It's going to be nicely edited, and I use my mic and everything, but I'm just getting this out right fast so everyone knows I've seen the movie, and I loved it. I love Black Panther. It had a great cast, a great supporting cast, that sometimes outshine the league, like a couple people have said, but it wasn't that bad. But a great supporting cast, one of Marvel's greatest, if not one of the greatest villains ever put in a comic book movie in Eric Killmonger, in my personal opinion. He's right up there with Loki, he's right up there with Loki, and he's right up there with Loki and Magneto and God damn it, the Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker. He's right up there with them, because they're the top five to me. It's Heath Ledger's Joker, Loki, Magneto, Ian McKellen / Fassbender, Magneto, because I think they both do an equally good job. And at first it was Vulture, but now I'm swapping it out. Now it's Killmonger is tied up with Loki for me, and then it's Vulture. And then it's probably like right under him. Then it's probably within right under those two. It's probably like someone like Hela. It's probably a little toss up between like Hela and some other guys. But right now he's up there with them. Killmonger, one of the best villains ever put on screen, which has elevated his movie to another level. And every time he came on screen, he elevated the movie every single time he's on screen. It also had a great secondary villain in Claw, who was hilarious. He might not have had the depth that Killmonger had, but he was still fun. He was still vibrant, and you can obviously tell that. Damn it! I always forget his name. Andy Serkis was having a blast actually being able to act, so that was great to watch. And you know that this movie just does so much, and this movie, and spoiler free, this movie just does so much right. It shows, first of all, Wakanda is so beautiful and so lived in, and it looks so great. And I love the mixture of technology and African culture just mixed together to make this place. It's so beautiful. But the story is basically after Civil War, because the movie takes place after Civil War. They even show a couple of clips from Civil War. After T'Challa's father's death, T'Challa has to take over the throne. He has to go through the trials. And it has a bit of a Game of Thrones / one of those King Arthur vibes to it, one of those like classic Shakespearean vibes to where it's like there's people who disagree, there's people who want him to be king, there's people who want something from him. There's interesting things going on with the movie, and I can't wait to see them explore in a sequel. And they explore a little bit of it. They don't go too much into it because it's obvious. Like the movie had to get its pace going. It had to do what it needed to do to keep going, and it didn't. And well, I'll get to that one in my small complaints. But anyways, and he has rivals in Claw and Killmonger who are coming at him, and he has to keep this whole thing together, keep his country strong. He has to figure out if he wants to further his country or do they want to just stay isolationist. And that's pretty much the story. But I have to say right off the bat, this movie to me, in my opinion, which is why it's hard for me to, which is why the reasons that I don't, which is why I'm going to give you right now, it's a 9. It's a 9 to a 9.5. It's not a solid 9. At times it's a 9.5, but through the majority of the time it's just a solid 9 to me, because when it's a 9.5, this movie has some of the biggest balls I've ever seen in a comic book movie, period. To bring up and not only hit some of the racial tensions and some of the racial things in it, like for a Marvel movie to do that, and not do it in a preachy way, to just do it in a matter-of-fact way, just say, this is what it is, this is where I'm coming from. And they're able to get away with it because a little bit, I'm not going to go into details, but the philosophy that was really hardcore was the villains. So you weren't supposed to agree with him. So it makes the people who might be like, oh, rolling their eyes, like, well, yeah, you're supposed to because he's the villain. While T'Challa is, going against that. But the fact that they hit it and they hit it hard and they went, this is what it's about. And I love that, man. It was so amazing seeing it. I love when they hit that racial tension. They hit that, and it's one of those things and I realized this too, where it is a race thing when it comes to this movie, because I have noticed that it is sort of a race thing when it comes to this movie, because if you are African American, well, seems I've been looking at reviews, so far, but so far, usually the negative reviews either come from people who don't think it took it far enough, or from other ethnicities, either Mexican, Latino, or white. I'm not just pointing out white. It's like either Mexican, Latino, or something, or white, or Asian, who are like, oh, I don't quite like it. Doesn't hit you. Like the parts that are supposed to hit you won't hit you as hard because you're not, African American. You're not African or African American, because there are certain scenes in this movie that are meant to hit the African American audience, which makes sense. I mean, it is Black Panther, and it does take place in Africa, and it isn't an entirely black nation. It'd be weird for them not to at least acknowledge this fact, because it would be hard not to. But I did not expect them to not only acknowledge a lot of this, but to make it basically the plot, like basically make their plot around that, or the secret plot around that, and it was so amazing to me. And Killmonger was just so great. He was such a sympathetic villain. He was such a hardcore villain, because you believe Michael B. Jordan was just that hardcore. Whenever he did something, you were just like, this dude is unhinged. You don't know what he's gonna do. T'Challa was great playing Black Panther. Honestly, he plays T'Challa just like you imagine in the comics. Because that's how T'Challa is in the comics. He's stoic. He's a king. He's a king. He's not like Thor, like running off doing random shit. T'Challa is a king. And he's dignified. He talks like a king. He walks like a king. The only time he drops his guard is when he's around his sister, who is fantastic, Shuri. Now, Shuri in the comics is a lot more, let's just say less fun. She's more of a warrior. She's more of more angry. She's the angry, angsty sort of kind of younger sister. But in this, she's fun and she's vibrant and she's trying to and she's the Q to his James 007, and she's like a creator, and she's like the lead scientist, and she's 16, and she's just great. She's just great. And man, like I said, there are certain scenes in this movie that are just fantastic. Now let's get to little negative bits, why this movie isn't a straight up 10, and why at times it's just a 9. The CG comes and goes. It's not terrible CG, but it's noticeable CG. It's vividly noticeable CG, especially the last part. Last CG was straight up 2007 or 6 CG. But it wasn't so terrible. But visually it looked great, but the CG itself wasn't that great. If you know what I mean, it looked great, but the visual itself wasn't that great. But I didn't notice it, and it did distract me. But and the green screen, you can see green screen a lot. If you're not and this is me not even paying attention, I just noticed it. I was like, I could tell this is a green screen. It was just so noticeable. It's just yeah, this is green screen. That, and they did something near the end that I really disagreed with, and I was just like, I'm not a fan of that. Why'd you do that? You didn't have to do that. They could have went back and did something else. But anyways, those are my few complaints. Plus, another complaint. I thought that they could have done a better job. Although I think T'Challa did a great job, I did think they could have done a better job of giving him more awesome moments. They kind of gave him all the dramatic moments, but they could have gave him more awesome, badass moments, because Black Panther's a bad motherfucker, and he should have some of the best action sequences. I almost wish they brought the guys who did Winter Soldier on to do his action sequences, because the action sequence, admittedly, his action sequences, not to say his action sequences were bad, his action sequences were still fun, but they were better in Civil War. So take that with a grain of salt, whatever you think about that. Also, man, that's about it. That is literally about it. Thank you for joining me on the Comic Game Movie Show. What did you think of Black Panther? I give it a 9. Solid. I give it a solid 9. At times a 9.5. Important movie. Actually important movie. It's not like Wonder Woman, where the actual movie is just okay, but the actual, what the movie meant is bigger than the actual movie, how good the actual movie is. This movie is actually good. It's actually very good. It's actually almost great. Well, actually, I have it in my great category. It's not like, this movie's a game changer though. It's a game changer, but I judge the quality of the movie, and you'll see when I do my layers of Marvel. I'm gonna do a video called The Layers of Marvel, and you'll see what I mean by this movie isn't in my game changer department, because I'm looking at it as a movie. As a message, it is a game changer. And that's why it's the closest one in my great category that's not quite in the game changer with some other movies that I have. But I'll give you my list of the layers of the MCU is coming out soon. Thank you for joining me on the Comic Game Movie Show. Did you like Black Panther? What was your favorite part about Black Panther? And please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.